Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. It's Mo Perspective. So today we're going to talk about friendship and we're going to do a SWOT analysis on friendship. So what a SWOT analysis is basically how we analyze the potential success of a company, but we're going to do this for friends. SWOT is actually an acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And today we're going to delve into strengths and the strengths that we should look for in people that we consider to be our friends. So, we always look for just basic things like the fact that our friends are dependable, trustworthy, law abiding citizens, they have a good reputation, they're there for us, they listen to us whine, all that good stuff. That's all fun and games. But for me, when I think about what a true friend is, I like to dig a little bit deeper, and I hope that you will accept this and maybe internalize it. First thing that I look for in a friend when it comes to strength is, do they possess the ability to tell me what I need to hear and not just what I want to hear? Now, this tells me two things. Number one, whether that person has my best interest at heart. Because if you have a friend that doesn't speak up when you are doing something destructive or doesn't attempt to stop you before you do something stupid, you should definitely reevaluate that relationship. I've heard oftentimes, I don't judge anybody, so if you like it, I love it. But to me, this is bullshit because that same friend didn't stop you, will be the same one laughing behind your back after you done blew up your boyfriend's car and it backfired on you. Please, people, tell me you guys saw the video of the young female. I would call her a woman, but this was all childish here. This young female who blew up her boyfriend's car. Now, I'm sure, at least I'm hoping she had somebody on her side, somebody on her team to pull her aside, said, no, baby girl, please don't. No, 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 no. That's not what you want to do. You know. The second thing that I look for as far as a strength in a friend is somebody that handles stress and adversity well. For me, I need to surround myself with folks that bounce back rather quickly. Stress is a huge part of life, but have you guys ever heard that saying that says life is 10% of what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it? Just as I expect my friends to judge my decisions in life, I too have to sit back and watch how they deal with trials and tribulations. Now you're probably asking, why is that important? What difference does it make if my friends handle stress well or if they're able to bounce back? What if they're going through a tough time? All this good stuff. The issue is that unfortunately we take on characteristics of our friends. Their tendencies and their reactions are very contagious. When we consistently interact with individuals, sometimes our judgment and thought pattern can be influenced heavily. So it's important what we expose ourselves to, whether it be what you watch, whether what you intake, what you listen to, things like that are a huge influence on us. And unfortunately, I believe that there are more of us that are influenced by other people than going by our gut instinct. We don't have a lot of free thinkers out there, people that take in information, consider all sides, and then make their own decisions and judgment for themselves. Unfortunately, we have a lot of people, especially young folks, that tend to rely on their friends or somebody that may not have their best interest at heart giving them advice, or they're copying what they are doing in their own lives and doing it for themselves. And a lot of times that doesn't work for us. Okay? Have you guys ever heard that saying? I think it's by Jim Rohn, Rohn. I don't know if he was a psychologist or what, but he said that you're the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. And I do believe in that. I do believe that birds of a feather flock together. And I'll give you an example of that. I remember working with a couple of individuals many years ago, and one of them, they were both married, and one of them got divorced because she was having issues with her spouse, and then 6 months later the other one got divorced. Now these two were friends, the two females that got divorced from their husbands, and the fact that they got divorced right around that same time lets me know that they were definitely influential on each other. And I know that's just a small example, and it's not a huge percentage of what may really go on, but that's just a small example of how influence can work. I remember also working with another group of individuals in a small section, and 4 out of the 5 people that I worked with either had mental issues or was on some sort of mental health medication. And the thing is that when you surround yourself with people, you are highly influenced on how to deal with situations. Now, everybody's circumstance, I'm sure, was unique in its own sense, and each person had their own individual things that they weren't able to cope with. But the fact that there were 4 out of 5 in this section, and there was only a total of maybe 6 of us that were going through something similar, or at least reacting and using medications to solve this issue, lets me know that influence is huge. And so when we surround ourselves with people, we have to look at that person as an individual and the things that they can handle and can't handle, and is this something that I can easily be influenced by? Now, you may think, oh, I'm a strong person. I'm not easily influenced by what another person does. But unfortunately, when you surround yourself constantly around something, it is going to rub off on you in some way or another. So those are my strengths that I look for when it comes to friends. During my SWOT analysis, the fact that somebody can tell me what I need to hear versus what I want to hear. It's real easy to tell a friend, oh yeah, don't worry about that, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you need somebody that's going to just give it to you straight and just tell you. I remember I had a friend one time, I was whining about a particular situation in my life. And at this point, it had been over a year and I was still complaining about the same thing. Now, it was very traumatic for me. But the fact that she brought it to my attention that I'm still whining and crying about something that I pretty much caused. it was because of my actions and things that I did that led to the situation. And a year and a half later, I'm still whining about it. And the fact that she brought it to my attention, I'm sure that wasn't easy for her. Yes, I resented her for it, but later on, it made me realize, number one, don't talk to her about this situation ever again, number one. And number two, it made me sit back and realize, you know what? She's right. I'm whining about something that I have no control over because I can't control what other people do. So the fact that she told me that, knowing that that was something she knew I probably didn't want to hear, but she just had to say it. I respect that wholeheartedly. I respect people that tell me what I need to hear versus what I want to hear. Don't placate me. Don't baby me. Don't sugarcoat anything. Just be straight up, especially when we are grown. When we're children, that's a different story. When you have children, teenagers, things like that, you have to come a little softer. But when you're an adult and you're grown and you have responsibilities, sometimes people just have to put it to you plain in order to help you realize what's really going on. The other thing that I look for, again, just to recap, is how well they handle stress, because when you see other people and how they handle things, but you're constantly around them or you talk to them on a daily basis, the way they handle things can eventually lead to the way you in turn deal with situations. And sometimes the way they deal with something may not have anything to do with the situation you're dealing with, but you handle it the way they would. And it doesn't even apply to your situation. So that's why we have to be careful about who we interact with on a consistent basis. Am I saying don't have friends that have faults and weaknesses? Absolutely not. Everybody has faults and weaknesses. We all do. But when we have goals in life, goals in mind, and we want to get to a certain place, we have to evaluate who it is that we're dealing with and how those people deal with what's going on with themselves, because it is so important. So that's the first part of the SWOT analysis, talking about strengths with friends. Stay tuned. Next time we're going to talk about weaknesses when it comes to friends and things that we should look for when it comes to that. But thanks you guys for listening. Please comment, subscribe, leave a note down at the bottom. Let me know some of the strengths that you look for when it comes to friends and people that you deal with on a regular basis. Thanks again. Peace and blessings.